I've always known that I have to work harder for the same outcomes as someone who is not a woman or African American. My parents always told me you have to work 50 times harder than someone else just to be even with them. In high school, I didn't believe in feminism at all. I thought it was evil. And my father used to always make me read articles, especially about hip-hop, the hip-hop community and how it's misogynistic. And I would always argue with him and say, well, no, there's women that are really like that. They're not talking about every woman. And I came to college. I was going to major in sports management. My goal was to marry a NBA player and live the happy life, not have to work. My father used to get so upset with me when I tell him that. But of course, when I got here, I realized that was absolutely ridiculous. And I took my first women's and gender studies class. That's when I really started to realize what women had gone through, because I never looked at the world through a gendered lens. I always looked at it through a racial lens. When I took my first women's and gender studies class, my whole way of thinking changed. And in one of my Africana studies classes, I learned that they determine how many jail cells they build by the test scores of third grade African American boys. And that's when I decided, I want to be a teacher. I want to change this. This is my ultimate goal, is to open a boarding school for underprivileged youth that would allow them to leave their areas, whether it's a rural area or an urban area, and have them come to my school. I want it to be K through 12 and be able to get all the opportunities and advantages they would have if they were in a suburban school. The school systems in New Brunswick need to drastically change. I just went to New Brunswick Middle School yesterday, and I couldn't find it. It's in an industrial area, and I'm like, where is the school? I couldn't find it. It's a warehouse. New Brunswick Elementary School and New Brunswick Middle School are two warehouses. And the only reason I found out was because I saw kids running. I was amazed that this was where their school was. They don't have a playground. It's just a big patch of grass. You can give them a playground, you can have soccer goals or basketball courts or tennis. You can put a lot of things there. Why don't they have simple amenities that most other children are allowed to have? And I just think that it's so tragic that children in America, depending on where you're born or what family you're born into, can have a completely different experience. Turn to page 31. I'm working with 7th and 8th grade girls and teaching them a curriculum based off The Secret Life of Bees. The program meets once a month, and the girls and I discuss the book and create art projects. This initiative aims to allow girls to increase their literacy as well as express themselves through artwork. I also work as a manager for the Rutgers women's basketball team, which is coached by Vivian Stringer. I'm going to be interviewing Coach Vivian Stringer. She's the only coach, male or female, to take 3 different schools to a Final Four. And she's done so many things over her career, and she's faced also so many obstacles in her lifetime. And I just think she's a wonderful woman. I've had the pleasure of working with her, and I know that she stresses family and community, and she wants everyone to feel a part of her family. And working with her, I've just learned so much just from being in her presence about how you handle yourself, having poise. I think that interviewing her would be an excellent opportunity for myself, because I feel that I can learn so much more through a one-on-one interview with her. And I think that what I will learn will shape my life and will impact the way that I eventually lead. Do you feel a particular responsibility to the African American community, being one of the few African American women in a leadership position?
I feel a responsibility to all women. I want women to be comfortable and confident, and specifically for the African American female.
What characteristics do you possess that allow you to transform the lives of the women you work with?
I don't know, you could probably tell me that better than I could tell you. It's that look, you know how sometimes I can really get on somebody.
Go over.
And I hate to see them drop their heads. You know that. I just lose my mind. I hate to see them back down just because I said something, because it's just as important that they are mentally strong as they are physically gifted. My attempt is to make it so tough on you in practice that you're so confident, that you're cool and you're calm and you just know how to do it. And so while you might not appreciate it now, you might be upset, you come to know that you'll handle all of that, because there is nothing that's too great for you to do if you really want it. And at the highest levels, to transfer, the lessons that we learn, in basketball, the responsibilities of everyone. You can't tell people to do something that you're not going to do yourself. You have to be willing to sacrifice. They have to see that you've committed yourself. They can see that you've spent the time. Those leadership lessons that teach you that, you can be down, but you're not out, and you don't give up. You keep trying, and you're finding another way to get it done. And I think that ultimately that's what we're having happen with our team.
What advice could you give me as a young woman with hopes of leadership in my future?
When I think about you, you have so much talent, and you've been, soft and quiet. I don't ever want to disappoint the people that I'm talking to. I don't want to disappoint myself, and you're the same way. The one thing that helped me that I would share is that if you're nervous, just say, I'm really nervous, so that people think, wow, I'm glad you said that, because I am too,
All right, well, thank you so much, Coach Stringer, for this interview. The conversation was inspiring, and it just reassured me that I'm going to be able to do the things that I want to do with my future. And although it's going to be a long and rough road, there are people out there who have done similar things or who have accomplished goals similar to mine.
Keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be